Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is for you. I'm Cycling. This is Let's Play Train Simulator, and we're going to keep driving this Class 175 on a Cardiff Central to Cheltenham Spa service. We're running as far as Bristol Parkway because, well, the route as designed in Train Simulator does not go beyond that point. However, there is, I believe, other versions of this track area. I believe Western Main Lines, for example, has one of them where you have a bit of an inaccurate drive from Swindon down to Bristol Temple Meads, and I think Bristol Parkway is covered in that, so I just don't know how Cheltenham Spa is covered in that. There is a Cheltenham Spa somewhere, though, and we'll look at that on a future route. For now, we're going to get what we can up to Bristol Parkway. Let's go ahead and take a look at this scenario today. Welcome aboard 2G52, operating an Arriva Trains Wales service from Maesteg to Cheltenham Spa. Due to engineering work, this service will be running through Severn Tunnel and via Bristol Parkway. Set the train up and depart once the passengers are on board. Wait a second, where are we? I actually don't know where we are. Let's open the doors here. That's the back of the train. This is the front of the train. Where are we going here? Let's look at our mission for today. We are starting at Cardiff Central, which is exactly what I imagined. It's a little bit dark. I was going to give you a tour of the area, but it's a little bit dark, so I'm going to save that for a future scenario. I keep doing the wrong button. Let's bring that up. We're not going to leave yet because we have to board our passengers. Let's look at our mission for today. We're only going up to Bristol Parkway, so we are going via the Severn Tunnel Junction platform, which is what I expected. We're going to find our way to Patchway and Bristol Parkway after that to finish this drive. We're also going to stop at Newport along the way as well, it looks like. So we got 4 stops on this run. Not bad. And just a quick peek at the map to show where it is we're finishing. We're finishing all the way over here, which, as you can see, the route ends from that point. That's where the portal to Swindon is located. Passenger boarding is complete. Proceed when ready, which basically means immediately. So we're going to go ahead and proceed immediately. Now, in the scenario mode, I thought I was in some kind of a covered area for a second, but no, it's just dark. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. That's all it is. So, yep, I was a little confused there for a moment, but we are all fine. So we're going to go ahead and leave the station at an appropriate speed. Let's make sure our headlights are on. I don't think I did that. And even though I'm not seeing them, I'll turn on the instrument lights too. So you can see the early morning lights in the many large buildings in this area. I need to put on some brakes, so I'm going to do that. So we're going through the Cardiff East Junction about this point. We're going to have a 20 in a moment here once we get off this junction. I'm trying to game it, but I'm not going to be able to game it correctly, it looks like. So we're going to back it back down. There it is. It's not really easy to see much at night, so we're going to be hearing some trains going by. I'm not going to try to bring too much attention to them because in nighttime I'm a little less comfortable with the way nighttime works in this game myself. In the future, we will go ahead and apply. I want to point out, because I was actually talking to someone about this a moment ago as I was doing these recordings. Someone asked, are you not using the Armstrong Powerhouse Enhancement Pack? And it is done for this route. It does exist for this route. But the reason I don't do that, just to clarify again why I'm doing things the way I am, is for the official scenarios, I'm going to show them exactly as the route came out of the box. When we get to these scenarios that are custom made, and aren't tied to, you know, the possibility of being unable to play this scenario because I have applied enhancements to things. That's the point at which I'm going to go ahead and start applying the sound, the sky and weather packs, because at that point you're going to find there might be some new weather formations used in some of these custom scenarios. Not necessarily so for the workshop scenarios. I'm going to use some of them too. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to apply the enhancements for the workshop scenarios I download as well, whichever ones I find there. So I am going to make a point to show off the enhanced visuals, and by doing that, what I'm hoping happens is that nighttime actually looks a bit better and a little more realistic to what you see, like with a moon out or something like that, rather than just this inane darkness where you can't see a single thing around you except for these buildings going by. I can't see anything on this right now. You can see the Arriva, so there's a little bit of light here, but not much. You can see a little bit because it is early in the morning. If it was like 5 o'clock in the morning in the game, there's no way you would see anything on this train right now. Absolutely none. So, yeah, we'll once we get through the official scenarios, we'll go ahead and we'll apply some enhancements. I'm going to do that with all routes. When I'm done the official scenarios on any route, including local DLC where applicable, I'm going to go ahead and start applying enhancements. So I'm going to start going to Riviera Line. I'm going to head back to Portsmouth Direct Line, the old one, so I can work into the new one. I have to get to a Class 455 as well, which I think has scenarios on South London Network, so I need to do that and connect it to London to Brighton as well. So I've got lots of locomotives I need to show you scenarios for before I actually unlock the Sky and enhancements on a route. I am going to try to work my way through doing that slowly. It's going to be a slow process. It might take a couple years to get through all the DLC I have, maybe longer, but we will try to get there. Let's see what we can do. In the meantime, you can see we are working our way up to 75 miles per hour right now. That is our effective speed limit at this time. So I've got 8 scenarios here. I've got 7 more scenarios for the Bristol to Swansea section. I want to show off the 159 might, no, that might be Riviera Line actually. The 159 might be Riviera Line. It's either here or Riviera Line for the 159. I do want to show off the 67 scenarios that are here. I do want to get to the Arriva Trains Wales and the 150 Type 1. I'm told that train sucks, by the way. But the enhancements from Armstrong Powerhouse apparently make that one really, really nice. So I'm going to show it out of the box just so you have a comparison. And that both versions are shown here. But I'm going to try, and I also want to get the Arriva Trains Wales pack because that is one that is only available now to people who previously had it. The scenarios can be enhanced for Armstrong Powerhouse versions of the trains and such, but I might just show the career scenarios as designed, and then if we want to visit the enhancements, we can look at them enhanced later. Armstrong Powerhouse, after all, does have a 142 pack as well. So I believe we're coming up on the Marshfield section in about a mile or two. I almost called it a kilometer, but in almost a mile or two. So that's going to be the next major landmark here. And again, you can't see much in the dark, so I'm not going to try to point everything out here. It's impossible. Even more so because there's a light coming in my window that's shining a little bit on the screen right now, making my sight even harder. So I'm just keeping an eye on my speed, basically, at this point. And that has proven even more useful for that reason. There's a train going by, you may have noticed. We have a 95 now, so I'm going to bump the speed up. I might have been a little slow noticing that, so we might lose a little bit of time here. But according to my ETA, it looks like I'm going to actually be early. And the reason I say early is because I know in the past I've had a time that was much later than what is shown, like a minute or two later at most, and it still caught up and I still made the stop on time. So we should be okay for our stop here. That was another 175 going by. I saw that one. Just barely. Now, apparently there is a night setting, but as you may have noticed, if I do try to set a different setting here, the headlights don't seem to come on any other way. So I'm just going to leave them on the way they are, where I have a little bit of visibility in front. Not that it really helps me. You're stuck on the same track regardless. But it might give me the ability to see something coming up in terms of an upcoming Morphosport. Even though we're going to get alerted to them anyway, it doesn't hurt to see them. And signals will show up regardless. So we should have passed Marshfield by now, I believe. We might be passing it right now. That might be it over there on the right now, actually. Again, that station is a closed station, so it is not actually open at this time. It is about 5 miles away from Newport, which is where we are right now. So no, and there are a couple of junctions coming up to Newport. As we get to about 2 miles out, I'll try to talk about them if I remember, but since I'm not really able to see much, it's kind of hard to point them out. So we're reaching our speed limit now. I'm going to go ahead and ease the throttle to a level 1 because we should still lose speed on a level 1. And I may flop it back to a level 2, but we're not going to be staying in this setting very long because we are going to have a 75 restriction, I believe, coming up. I think it's 75. Yep. 75. So I'm going to leave it on level 1 and let the train coast a little bit. Actually, I'm going to move it to 0 and I'll really let the train coast. So there's our warning of a double yellow, actually. So I'm going to actually drop the speed even more than I would for the other restriction, because for the speed restriction, because at this point I know I'm going to have to potentially slow down as we get our warning for the 75. I'm going to have to potentially slow down for a red. And since that red could be 0.8 of a mile away, I'm going to go ahead and lower my speed a little bit more just to be safe. Oh, now we have a green. Well, thank you. Now that I've prepared, thank you for giving me a green signal. We're now 2 miles away from our first stop. We have a 60 coming up anyway, so I'm going to have to lower speed anyway. That's probably the warning for the 60. There it is. So we're coming up on Ebu Junction here, and if I'm saying that wrong again, I apologize. I'm not from Wales. So Ebu Junction is how I imagine it to be said. If I can get the throttle off, there we go. And we're going to be coming up in about 0.3 of a mile on Gare Junction. So see if you can keep an eye out for that as we go here. We're entering the 60 right now. We're going to have a 30 coming up, so I'm going to lower even more. This is around where Gare Junction is, I believe, around this point. So I've lowered my speed a little bit. I'm going to hold it for a moment as we enter the Hillfield Tunnel. And now I'm going to lower a little bit more. I'm kind of coasting it down and gently because I don't want to come to a sudden slowdown to cause discomfort to my passengers. So I'm trying to be smooth with my slowdown. And that should do the job. So I'm going to move the, whoops, I need a little bit more. We're getting yellows up ahead here, it looks like. We are going to be stopping up here anyway for our stop, obviously. But we can pull in for the time being. We do have a green now, so the yellow did change to a green. And now we're within 1/10 of the platform, so I'm going to start slowing down a little bit more right about now. Because I don't think the brakes work in a very, very strong fashion on this. In fact, yeah, I have to hit those brakes heavy now. And cut them off now. I can coast to the end of the platform, so I have lots of time to coast if I want to. So I'm going to actually go ahead and take the brakes off and cruise in at 13 right now. I'm going to slow down a little more now. Because we're not going to be allowed to leave until the time that passenger boarding must be completed, and we must leave at that point. So we are arriving at Newport, platform 4. Let's open those doors. Passenger boarding is complete. Proceed when ready. Since I don't think the buzzer's bell is activated here, that'll have to do. So we are leaving Newport Platform 4, and we are going to be continuing to a couple go via points. Our next stop is actually going to be at the end of our journey at Bristol Parkway. I'll bring that up and show you here. The next two stops are go via. That is our next stop, Bristol Parkway Platform 3. So we're going to make sure we maintain speed as we go and not speed as we go. As we're just coming out into a 20-mile-per-hour section, we're now fully within that 20. Of course, it takes effect as soon as we enter it. The 40 does not take effect until we fully exit it, which is going to be momentarily. There we go. Timed that correctly. Now, this scenario gives you lots of time, I believe, to make your points here. Because as you can see, we're already very close to the expected arrival time based on our ETA. We're already getting very close. So this is lots of time to make the go via point. I'm not too concerned about our journey at this point. So we should be okay as far as the scenario standpoint goes. By the way, notice that we have 400 points sitting on there. So it looks like this is a 5-stop thing, 200 per stop. We can potentially, it is still only worth 1,000 points, so we have to make sure we don't screw up at all. We will not get any leeway here. Oh, I'm at a 75. Get up to 75. Oh, okay, juice it. I almost didn't juice it. That's a mistake. So we did go through not too long ago, we went through a couple junctions, the main D West and East Junction. I'm a little bit late on bringing those up now. We are going through soon the East Usk Junction, which I believe is the next junction we're going to see. We may have already passed by now also the Lawnwarn West Junction. In fact, this might be it right here. The Lawnwarn West Junction might be that where that shunt signal is. So here it is right now. So a little over 2 miles out from the station, we're going to find Magor coming up. That's going to be about a little less than 5 miles from now. Magor, that is another closed station on this route. And then we're going to come upon Severn Tunnel Junction after that. Now, Severn Tunnel has a very interesting way of telling drivers what they're doing and how they're moving in the tunnel. It has a very interesting way of doing that. I'm going to show you that as we get in the tunnel, because actually as we get to the bottom of the tunnel, because there's really no other way to show it to you. It's going to be a unique blue light system that shows that tells drivers how to behave at certain points in the tunnel. You'll see what I mean when we get there. So I'm trying to maintain a proper throttle level right now so we don't speed. At the same time, we don't lose too much speed, rather. That looks like a Class 70 service. You can tell because of all the freight cars, and DTG would not be one to put trains on a route that are not actually used in the route DLC for a purchase DLC. So this is perfectly normal for them to put whatever trains they include in there. They won't add other things. Even the Euro Asset Pack you won't find in here, unless they actually use trains from the Euro Pack in the actual scenarios, in which case you might find it from time to time. But typically they won't use that. They'll show off the trains they put in the route. Historically. Allegedly. So back to a level 2 throttle. If I can get it to stick, there we go. So we've probably by now passed the Landwehr Works exchange sidings. I'm pretty sure we passed them by now. We're well past them, I would imagine, at this point. Just to show you where they are, if I can bring up the alert, you're going to see that we are in this general area coming along here. Actually, here are the sidings. The sidings are a little back here somewhere. So somewhere back here those sidings are. I'm not going to try to find them, but they're somewhere back there. So we're going to hit the brakes a little bit to slow down for our 75. There is a 70 coming up as well, but we're not going to have to concern ourselves with that quite yet. It's just something to keep in mind. We can coast our train down to there easily without further brakes. That's probably the warning for the 70, actually. No, that was the warning for the 75, so there must have been a junction warning before that for trains that need it. That junction warning must not have been for us. I missed the signs, so we know there's a 70 coming up. I'm going to go ahead and just maintain level 1, go between level 1, level 0 throttle, and I'm going to idle the throttle as we come through Severn Tunnel Junction Station. Because as you can see now, there's a downhill after that as we get to the 75 after that. And that's going to be something we're going to need to keep in mind. We're going to need to maintain a downhill gradient. So I'm idling the throttle now to get down to 70. We passed Gabor a long time ago. We should be passing that signal 1228 in just a moment. I believe it's a little less than a mile from the station that we see this signal. So signal NT1228 is probably this signal right around here. Not that one. Well, somewhere in this area is that signal. I got my speed down in time. So right after the Severn Tunnel, that was the timeliness bonus, I got distracted by that. Right after Severn Tunnel Junction Station, naturally you're going to find the Severn Tunnel. There is looks like a little tiny tunnel right here before that. I think that's to allow another route to go over. The route going to the north to Cheltenham Spa is going to head in that, over the area where that little tiny tunnel is. We're on the downhill now as we enter the Severn Tunnel downhill branch. We're now in a 75. I'm letting the speed go up a little bit, then I'll apply a brake application to hold our speed. So here's that branch going over us right now, I believe. Little tunnel there for it. Now I'm going to go ahead and start applying the brakes here. That actually might be too... Ooh. Well, now we're properly in the Severn tunnel. By the way, I don't know if our headlights are actually on right now, are they? I can't see anything, so I can't tell you if the headlights are on. I can't even get to the front of the train right now, so we're just going to play along in the dark here. I'm going to try to hold our speed right here. I don't know if it will hold properly. Managed to add just that 0.1 or that 1% brake to the 6. I'm hoping that that 7 holds it. It's not holding it, it looks like. It's still gaining just a little bit. I have the room, I just don't want to do that. So let's pop another percentage on there. And now we're losing speed, so I'm okay with that. I'd rather get our burst of speed as we come to the bottom of the hill anyway. This would be a good time to turn on the cab lights, by the way, if you were actually paying attention to the two things. So we're going to see a blue signal coming along just a moment. It would be a single blue light. There it is. So that single blue light signifies you're at the bottom of the downhill. You can remove your brakes and you can try to adjust your speed to maintain 75. And then when we get to the next signal, the double blue signal, that is the signal that's going to tell us that we are on the uphill and we need to juice our speed completely up. There it is. So now we're on the uphill. I moved my throttle up to 4 completely. And as you can see, we are losing speed. Actually, it looks like I gained a burst of speed there for a second, but it is a lot harder to gain speed on this section. So if we are somehow able to maintain full speed, we're going to be able to pull the throttle off at a level to level 3. But we may have a hard time maintaining speed here. We'll find out. Yeah, I actually might hit the 75 before I reach the 90. So I'm going to have to keep that in mind, it looks like. Now, as we leave the Severn Tunnel, we're going to be coming up on a station shortly afterwards. That is Pilsing Station. So, or Pilning. I said Pilsing. Pilning Station. Apologies. So we're going to come up on Pilning Station as the first station out of the tunnel. And I believe the next station after that is Patchway, and that is our checkpoint. We're doing okay for time right now for Pilning Station. Or for Patchway, I should say. There is no timing at Pilning, of course. So as I leave the tunnel, I'm going to go ahead and go back to notch 4 to see what that does to my throttle. It is a steady 1 in 90 going down from the west, and a steady 1 in 100 coming up to the east, and vice versa if you go in the other direction. Our speed was okay there, so we are trying to gain speed into the 90 right now. Definitely not an easy task, but we'll be okay anyway. The scenario timings, of course, take this into account. If you're not able to reach a point on time, the scenario editor tells you by showing the time in red to say this is not possible. Sometimes it can be, sometimes it doesn't calculate correctly, but usually if it gives you a calculation saying that you can't do it, you're better off not keeping that time on there if you're going to have it as a timetabled scenario. And we might have already passed Pilning. I haven't really been keeping up because I can't see much. No, this is Pilning right here. This is Pilning Station right now that we're passing. So we're about 3.5 miles from Patchway at this time. There will be another tunnel coming up before Patchway. I don't have the name of this tunnel, unfortunately. I could probably find the actual information for the tunnel on the Network Rail site. I'm sure every tunnel pretty much in the UK has a name, so I'm sure there will be a name for this tunnel. I just don't have it. I may have it on future videos, and I just won't have it today. Because I was looking ahead as I was doing this drive, and I realized there's a tunnel there. So I'll see if I can get that tunnel on a future drive. For right now, I don't have it. So we're going to be entering that tunnel in about 4/10 of a mile here. Now the ETA still shows me being a few seconds late, but typically the scenarios give you to the end of the minute, which is why I like seeing a time like 7:32:05 instead of a time like 7:32:55, because you have a better chance of being late at that second one. If you're going to have the time being 7:32:55, you might as well just make it 7:33 and call it even. Say they're on time. So there is a 60 speed limit coming up, as you see, 60 miles per hour. I'm going to go ahead and take the throttle down to an idle position and let the 1 in 100 gradient do some work for me to slow me down a little bit. I should be okay coming through the station on time at this stage. I'm definitely within the time limit right now. And I'm going to hit that brake a little bit more in a moment. Half a mile out, I think it's a good time to start really hitting the brakes, because I should have enough time to do it at that point. And there it is. Welcome to Patchway Station. Bristol Parkway is the next station. I don't know if there's any kind of junction speed limit here. I hope not, because I'm not prepared for that. There is a 40 after Bristol Parkway. I do not care about that. So another driver will take over the service as we arrive at Bristol Parkway, and we will be ending our service. Chances are our driver is only trained for this track up to Bristol Parkway and is going to take a train back to, drive another train back to the Cardiff Central. My guess is that's how this scenario would work out, but that's the beauty of this game. We can imagine these things. We don't necessarily know what's going to be true. You can see that on the HUD down below there is a buffer up ahead. That's because the route ends for us. I wish it went just a little bit further for realism purposes, so that we didn't actually have the indication of a buffer there. So I wish it went just a little further so we could have it zoomed in when we got our lower speed here. So we have about a minute to make this stop. Actually, no, we got about 2 minutes to make this stop. We're early. We are early for this. Good gracious. Let's go ahead and hit the brakes just a little more there. And let's go ahead and coast in. We can just coast in and come to a stop wherever we want to stop at this point. So let's see if we can do a proper stop here. We are 2 minutes early. Now, I don't know if there's a proper stop location on this route or not. I honestly do not know. And in the light, it's kind of hard to see right now anyway. So I'm just coasting in at 10 because I have the time. That's platform 3, obviously. That's not, doesn't mean 3-car stop. It's platform 3. And I'm at the gate, the actual building right now, the building section. So I'm going to go ahead and just stop right here. This seems like a good spot as any to stop. So I will do so. And the back car is going to be still in front of the building, which might disappear off our HUD. In any case, doors are open. Let's take a look outside as we finish. So that's, you can see the daylight is getting a little stronger now. The sun is coming up, but we're done our early morning journey. And you can see there's a green for trains in the other direction right now. So we are done our journey. We're going to go ahead and get our final stop process here at Bristol Parkway. And we're going to continue on to the next scenario. And what is the next scenario? I actually don't know because I don't have it in front of me right now. But I can probably tell you in about, by the time we get back to the menu, I should have that information in front of me again. I can tell you what the next scenario is. For right now, we're just going to wait for our stop to process because the stop time was 7:36, so it might be a little bit of a delay here because of that. Good time to remind you to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Great work, all tasks completed successfully. Let's see how well you did. So like the video, subscribe to the channel, and you can go ahead and support my work on Patreon and also join the Discord server as well. Let's see how we did. Should be 1,000, I hope. And there it is. So we are finished another perfect score here, which, again, I'm just proving it's possible. So there you go. It is possible. And we're going to go ahead and continue from there. The next scenario will be Cheltenham Spa to Maesteg. Again, Welsh names. Sorry, I could be screwing that up. M-A-E-S-T-E-G. Maesteg, maybe that is. And that scenario is going to be basically in the other direction. We're going to be going probably from Bristol Parkway or from somewhere shortly in. It's listed as being from Caldecott to Cardiff Central. So actually, it looks like we're going to be back on the other side of the Severn Tunnel. We're going to start near the Severn Tunnel next time. But we're going to start at Caldecott to head through Severn Tunnel Junction. That's what I believe we're doing next time. We'll find out next time. Again, like the video, subscribe, support on Patreon if you want. I already said all that stuff, so I'm not going to go too much into that. In the meantime, have a wonderful day, evening, or night. Have yourself a wonderful whatever it is for you, wherever you are in the world. And I will see you next time for Cheltenham Spa to Maesteg on service 2L53. See you for that. I'm Cyclone. Bye-bye.